Hello everyone, my name is Emily, and today I'm going to be doing another story time. Today's story is about how I was slut-shamed in high school. Now, this story wasn't overly traumatic for me. It wasn't incredibly damaging. It was just really frustrating, more than anything. What's really interesting is when I was slut-shamed, I didn't really at the time exemplify any of the qualities that you would put towards the word slut. And even if I did, that obviously doesn't make it okay. It's really never okay to bully anyone in any way, shape, or form. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or another about if you want to sleep around. It just, you do whatever you want to do as long as you're not hurting another person or being irresponsible with your sex life, then I don't really care. It's none of my business. And just so you guys know, at the end of this video, I will be doing a few announcements, a couple little explanations and things about the future. So if you want to stick around to find out more about this channel and where this channel is going, definitely do so. I'd love to have you. Let me give you a little bit of background information about the girl who slut-shamed me. I'm gonna call her Sally because I have never met a Sally within my generation. I think it's kind of more of an old school name, so we'll go with Sally. Now, this girl and I really didn't know each other very well. I think she was 2 years my junior, 2 or 3, somewhere in there. The only circle that we ran in that was the same was the theater circle, and she really wasn't ever in any performances. She just kind of hung around with other drama kids. This girl was relatively shy, and she was really into anime. She was one of those girls that was so into anime that she, was anime. So anime that I didn't have to go home and turn on my television to get some seriously moe shit. Kawaii desu up the ass kind of stuff. So, this girl was not super popular, but then again, none of us were. We were in fucking drama club, for crying out loud. It's not like we were running the school. Aside from some of her obvious eccentricities not really meshing well with my eccentricities, by all accounts, we probably should have been, friends at the very least, because we ran in the same circles, but I more chopped that up to me being older than her and already having an established friend group than simply not getting along, because I'm sure if we would have had a few conversations with one another, we would have got along just fine. And there was another kind of interesting thing that went on in the drama world, at least at my school. It kind of seemed that the younger grades were not infatuated, but definitely really interested in the goings on in the older grades circles, if that makes any sense. It's not like we had fans, but it's almost like we had little interns, if you will. It was almost if this relationship that we were fostering with this younger generation of drama club goers was all about prepping them to one day take our place, kind of take our roles on and off stage. And it's not like we all had this one set intern or anything like that. It's just kind of how the relationship between the juniors and the seniors and the freshmen all kind of developed. When I first started doing drama club, I was a freshman. I was one of those OG drama club kids from freshman to senior year, graduating with drama honors and all that good stuff. I definitely did start out doing stuff on stage. I often played the comic relief character, big shock, I know, and then eventually transitioned into doing more technical work. I did a lot of lighting, not necessarily design, but physically hoisting these Source 4 lights up and attaching them onto the poles up there and doing all that work. And then eventually I kind of transitioned into being more of a playwright and writing my own plays. I had a few things done in actual drama class, which I also took, but I also had a one act that I wrote featured in our one acts night, which we did every year about halfway through the year. A little background about this one act I wrote: it was called The Dachshund, and it was obviously about a wiener dog, because apparently I just couldn't get enough of weenies. The one act was about a dachshund who got abandoned in a park. It was looking for a new owner, very cutesy, very kid-friendly, okay? I was so proud of not only my writing and my directing, but my cast. They were so dedicated into making sure they really brought these characters to life. And even now, when I look back on it, I am still really, really proud of this production. So before I continue, I want to rewind a little bit. So about a week before my one-act's opening night, I was staying after school to kind of work out the blocking and make sure all the kinks were worked out as well, and just making sure that my one-act was polished. Now, she came into the theater with a group of her friends and was asking for a ride home from different people, and no one could really give her a definitive answer, so I obviously said, hey, I have a license, I can just drive you home, don't worry about it. If you can wait here about another 25 minutes, I'm happy to do it. I got my license before a lot of my other drama club friends did, so I was happy to give rides anytime anyone needed. Even though I really didn't know this girl from Adam, I was still happy to give her a ride. She was young and in need of one, so I get it, I've been there. My nature in its very self is incredibly motherly and nurturing, so when I see someone in need, my first reaction is to go help them, no matter who they are, and it doesn't matter what level of need it may be. And sometimes I've put myself out to help others or put others in front of me, and it's gotten me in a lot of sticky situations. A lot of sketchbook story times have resulted from me being too selfless in almost an idiotic way. It is a blessing and it is a curse. So this girl lived pretty far from my house, but not too far from the school, so it wasn't that big of a deal to me. It's not like I was losing a ton of gas or anything, and even if I was, she was young, she needed to go home, and it was getting a little dark, so I was happy to give her the ride. She said thank you, everything was cordial. I asked her how her classes were going. It was just it wasn't super awkward, it was just, me giving somebody a ride home. And that was the most interaction I have ever had with this human being. So now we can jump back to the opening night of the one-acts. Of course my parents came. I told them how proud I was of this production, that I really wanted them to see it. So I was very happy that they both could be there, and they ended up both being very proud of me, which felt, amazing. The praise from your parents, you can't get a better drug than that. If I could grind up my mother's love into a fine powder, you bet your ass I'd be snorting that shit every day. Hi, Mama Artful, don't be disappointed in me for saying that. I love you. So my parents ended up sitting in front of Sally, and guess what, guys? I don't really look like either of my parents. I'm kind of a very perfect hybrid of both of them, just smack dab in the middle. And for poor Sally, that was a pretty unfortunate happenstance, because she came there that day to discreetly talk shit about a person in an auditorium filled with people, literally relatives of the people she will be talking shit about. And I just want to say real quick, even if at the time I did meet the criteria of being a quote-unquote slut, it's just really not polite to say such horrible things about someone. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that you're not allowed to do it or you don't have the right to do it, because I really believe that people should be allowed to say what they want to say without any kind of interference from the law or from the government. But then you also have to understand that if you do or say something that is considered a social faux pas, other people who have the right to say what they want to say are gonna say some shit. You have to be fully prepared for the consequences, the same way that I'm pretty fully prepared for people to come after me when I post sketchbook story times. For most people, what this girl did was a social faux pas. It wasn't only her saying terrible things about me, but they were terrible things that weren't true. Everyone who entered the auditorium to view the one-acts was issued a program, and within that program, it had all the director's pictures and a short biography listed next to those pictures. Apparently, my mom heard Sally going down the list of directors and saying something really, really terrible about each one. Apparently, they were relatively tame things like, this person's weird, this person I don't like, this person's mean. And then she got to me, laughs, and says, oh, that's Emily Artful. She's a big, dirty slut. So my give zero fucks mother turns around and says, do you know her? And when Sally was unable to give my mom an answer, my mom finally says, that's my daughter. Apparently the look on this girl's face was absolutely priceless, but of course I wasn't there. I was backstage busting my ass, making sure my set pieces were perfect, all my props were in line, and my cast was ready to perform. You know, slut stuff. Again, I never really had any interactions with this girl, and the first time that I did a week prior, it was doing her a favor out of the kindness of my heart. I didn't have to give her a ride. I mean, if being a dirty slut is doing stuff for people because you care about other people and want to spread kindness, then yeah, I'm a huge slut. Just a big whore. And because my mom is so ridiculously classy, she basically just told Sally, you shouldn't be saying these things, and then turned around, watched all the one-acts, applauded like hell at the end of every single one, and then when everything was said and done and everyone had left the auditorium, my mom went to the department head and told her what had happened. My mom simply asked that the girl be reprimanded for her actions, and apparently she was. I didn't get to find out who this girl was till a lot later. When we went home and I opened my previous year's yearbook, she wasn't in it because she was a freshman. We looked over all the school's portraits pretty well, but because my mom didn't know her name or her grade or anything, we weren't able to find her until I got that year's yearbook. And of course, by that time, I had kind of forgotten about it, so it wasn't until about mid-summer that year that I even went, oh, that's right, and opened the book, and finally my mom and I were able to spot who did it. It shocked me to my core because I mostly remember this girl in a very positive way, and all my interactions were very positive with her, what limited ones there were. She just didn't seem like the girl to pick on others because I knew from how other people treated her that she was picked on sometimes. Apparently she was with 2 other girls that night, so I'm guessing she was trying to kind of like show off and be cool to try to impress these girls, and I just think that's really pathetic. If you have to make up lies or put down other people for someone to like you, then you're just hanging around the wrong people. I ended up doing nothing about my newfound knowledge. I never confronted this girl because I knew she would have flat out denied it. And then also, I just didn't think it was worth my time. It was done and over with. My drama teacher assured me that this girl was in some way punished for her actions, and I didn't really want to beat a dead horse. Of course, what she said really did hurt my feelings, but I had to take it upon myself and make an effort to try to move on. If someone's going to be that petty, then they are not worth my concern. My tears, my feelings, my thoughts, all these things are very valuable and should go to other valuable people. People are going to say awful things to you all throughout your life. That's just how it's going to be. Your feelings are in large part not controllable, but you know what is controllable? Your choices, your reactions to negative situations. If someone's saying something really horrible about you, you can make the choice to not go and beat them up or confront them and say horrible things about them in return. Remember, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. So if you start saying lies and horrible things about this other person, you are only lowering yourself to that level and spreading more negativity. This doesn't mean that they shouldn't be held accountable for their actions, but there are always better ways to make sure they're reprimanded or they're punished or they're aware that they are doing something that is harmful. My recommendation is that if you're still in school, to talk to a teacher or a counselor about it, or if you're an adult, you can confront them, but just remember to use calm and basic language. You did this, and it made me feel like this. And if they still refuse to acknowledge your feelings, then maybe you don't want this person in your life at all, and I would just cut them out completely in any way that you can. I just want to remind you guys that I am not a mental health professional, and I realize that there are exceptions to everything I just talked about, and that's fine. You can talk to your therapist or psychiatrist about it, and they may have a better avenue for you. Anyway, guys, that was a story of how I was slut-shamed in high school. Was it the last time that I was slut-shamed? Absolutely not. But again, I believe that people have the right to say whatever they want, but they also have to bear in mind there will be consequences if other people feel what they're saying is not too polite. Couple quick announcements here. I have been pretty on and off with posting on this channel. It looks like you guys are getting about a video every other week, where I would before normally try to post once a week, which I want to get back to eventually. But I am still trying really hard to get everything ready behind the scenes to open up another channel, a more kid-friendly channel. I'm also looking to change a few things on this channel, nothing too big, mostly cosmetic stuff like my intro. I also want to open a website for you guys to go where you can contact me and buy merch, and most importantly, where you can view my work in a larger scale than what is presented on the YouTube video screen. And that's pretty much it for the announcements. I am going to definitely try to post to this channel as much as possible. This is my main channel. This is my brainchild. You know, you guys are my babies. I love you all so much. I just think we have such a great community. It's very positive and loving. You guys have been so incredibly supportive and understanding of me and what I'm going through right now with my pregnancy. Everything's looking great. I will definitely be posting a second trimester update here soon. And I just feel really, really blessed and thankful to have all you guys and your support. So that's really all I've got to say. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to stay out of trouble. See you guys later.